Jonas Bjerre against Vaishali Rameshbabu. We are having actually clash of the top seed of the tournament, according to the rating, and the last seed of the tournament. But it doesn't mean necessarily that this is going to be an outcome of the game, because in classical game, anything can happen. And in this case, Vaishali is even more prepared.
I mean, Vaishali was this close to win the Rapid tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, so yesterday, not
exciting.
yesterday, but 2 days ago, because yesterday there was a rest day, she had a very, very powerful start. And then in the final game of the Rapid tournament, she was, before the final game, she was sharing the lead with Donchenko, I believe, right? And she had a very sharp game against Alexa Lem. It looked very interesting, but then at some point she miscalculated, and the Emirati Grandmaster ultimately scored an impressive victory, but she was very, very good. So she beat already several players from the categories, so she's no stranger here. She's definitely no underdog here, and that's why, of course, also Bjerre treats this game very, very seriously.
And if I remember, also she had quite some exciting games against Jonas Bjerre. They played the draw in the Rapid tournament, so she was standing against him, while Bjerre actually had pretty tough tournament in the Rapid. And Vaishali was the one who crushed, if you remember, she crushed Marc-Andrea Maurizi in the Rapid in the very awesome style. So yeah, she's for sure super, super dangerous, especially when she's going for such opening as French defense.
Yep. Indeed. French defense has, at the highest level, I believe, in the past couple of years, sort of a dubious reputation, you know. But again, it keeps coming back, and there's new ideas obviously found. So she's perfectly happy to do this. So White very quickly grabs space here with the first moves. Black is trying to organize the counterplay at the queen side. Again, you see the pawn structure here for Black indicates you want to play at the queen side. White is typically playing moves like queen d2 along castle.
Yeah, no, and also Black is attacking the pawn on d4, so that's why White has to make sure that it's all protected. There are always ideas of bringing the queen to b6, attacking the pawn. But in this line, that's why White is going for this bishop e3 move, so they are protecting and not really allowing that much of an action on the queen side.
Yeah, this is a very positional move. Basically, by this, the young Danish player says, I'm not going to castle long. So he wants to play positionally, c3, g3, bishop g2, short castle, and see what happens. It's a choice. Yeah, so one of the perfectly playable choices here. Queen b6, Black applies some pressure on the queen side. Queen c1, very cautious response, defending the pawn on b2. Bishop e7, c3, g3, so you see.
Wow, what is this pawn structure?
Yeah, it's
triangle.
It's a Christmas tree, essentially.
This is advanced triangle, yeah?
Yeah.
We have a triangle Slav, yeah, like with this d5, e6, c6, f7, b7, but here we have advanced French triangle.
Indeed, yeah. So White is grabbing a lot of space. And that's why also for Vaishali it's of paramount importance to organize aggressive counterplay in the center as quickly as possible, because if she is not going to do it, this space advantage will give White very serious advantage. So that's why she plays f6, and after bishop h3, here Bjerre hits a pawn on e6, c takes on d4, we have massive complications on the board.
We have so many possible exchanges. All the pawns are hanging in the air, so like White can take any pawn, White can take pawn on e6, White can take a pawn on f6, on d4, and I think that's what we are seeing, like there was a solid approach from White, right? I just want to make sure I have this space advantage, I have this pawn on e4, I have this beautiful pawn structure, while Vaishali is the one who is saying, I'm not going to let you have this advantage so easily, and she's breaking through with the c5, of course, it's a typical breakthrough, then f6, and now bishop e6 with a check is possible.
Yeah, but actually the first question is, I'm wondering why, yeah, bishop e6 is a move, but why not immediately c takes on d4? Because I thought this is White's idea. You know, that's why he played earlier here c3. Right here. Yeah, he played c3 to support the center, he played g3, he played bishop h3, and why there's no immediate c takes on d4? I have a feeling that there's something wrong, Angelika, with White's placement of the king in the center.
Maybe the question is, yes, if f takes e5 is possible, because you cannot take with the f pawn, and you must take only with a
With the D pawn. Or you could also, of course, take with the knight, but then you lose the possibility to cast a short. The king is stranded here. So something like d takes and bishop c5. I mean, of course, at any given moment, white can take the pawn on e6. But these players, they know it better, right? Because you win the pawn, but essentially, you see the queen on b6 might be indirectly hitting the bishop here through the b6 square. For example, you play bishop c5, knight c5, now you resign.
Knight coming to e4, queen f2, or knight coming to d3, obviously, targeting the boss bishop and creating a fork.
This is already unplayable.
This is absolutely...
A knight e5 is a problem.
Yeah.
You see the queen is hitting here, the bishop on e6. So that's why I suppose Bjerre is not really looking into this bishop e6 at all, because you feel like, even if you can't calculate all the things very precisely, you feel like it's very dangerous. For example, again, king h8, the pawn is under attack. After c takes on d4, I mean, it could be even knight b4, for all I know, right? I mean, hitting the bishop on e6 and threatening with a fork on d3.
So it looks like so easy. If you get this position in some kind of a puzzle rush earlier, like just take the bishop with the bishop on e6 because you're attacking the king. But no, that's the black who is creating this very important tempies later, creating these tactics later. Because first you're saying, okay, you're taking a pawn with a tempo. What can be bad in that? But then suddenly you're getting huge problems.
Maybe he has to take with the knight on d4, something like knight e to d4, and still not forget that the pawn is under attack. But again,